Hello and welcome to episode 98 of the FOMOcast. I'm here with Titus. We watched Rise of Skywalker last week. We had a lot of fun. We'll do some spoilery stuff at the very end, so we're not ruining everything. Make sure everyone go to FOMOcast on Facebook.com/FOMOcast, Twitter FOMO_cast, and Instagram FOMO podcast. Also, make sure to go to our Twitch, where we're live streaming on Twitch right now. Hello, Twitch. And we are also on YouTube. So go there. Tell me how bad I am at recording audio. Do your thing. I will talk a little bit about You Season 2. I won't go as spoilery into You Season 2. I haven't watched the whole season yet, but I did see some, the end spoilers. So I kind of have a gist of where it's going. But also make sure to go to Pod Bros Network, the podbros.com. Lots of wrestling stuff is happening right now. I can't even keep up. So
Wrestling,
like
yeah. WWE wrestling.
Yeah, because they're getting ready for everyone's hinting at the WrestleMania lineups and stuff like that. So everyone's kind of throwing out.
Happens in the summer, right?
I think it's spring, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I
never really got into it.
I think WrestleMania is after.
Is it May? It's like April, May, right?
I thought.
That seems about right. Because I did go to a WrestleMania party one time. And I feel like that was
April 5th.
That was about, yeah.
Yeah. So now's when they start, because they start trying to guess the lineups, because they want to see how the different scenarios play out on the regular shows leading up to it, because it has to build to a certain point for you to get those certain kinds of matchups. So I'm going to be downloading a lot of their podcasts, because a couple of them talk about, they have Accidental Wrestling Fan and Kapowcast. I think a couple of them all talk about a little bit about wrestling. So I'm going to be watching those or listening to those. So make sure to go to podbros.com. And like I said, go to ConCon's Cantina. They do in-depth about The Mandalorian. And they do know, they can give you a quick, he gives a tight hour. And he gives you little things about different things that appear in the episodes. They're full of spoilers, so be careful when you go there. But he does do a good job about showing the significance. Because I know for Titus, there's certain things I bet you, if I were to tell you what they meant before, if I knew what was going to be in The Rise of Skywalker, you would have enjoyed it more. Because there's things that don't make sense to certain people, because it's like, what is this? I don't know the deeper canon, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, they had stuff that got revealed they do a visual dictionary for every movie. It got revealed in the visual dictionary that a character is now canon again after he wasn't. But he's not in the movie. He's not in anything. He's just canon again.
They're just making stuff up.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to prepare for the next phase. So what they're doing is they're setting the groundwork. That way a director can't come in there and make changes. This is the way it is. This is the way. But yeah, we want to thank everyone for the support, for watching our videos, listening to the podcast.
I mean, that's a really popular thing. One thing I've noticed is there's videos of people talking about the shows.
Right.
And they're getting millions of reviews. I don't understand what's the point of watching a show and then watching someone watch the show and fill in the details.
So
I don't know why they got so popular.
I feel like for some people, let's say for instance Walking Dead wasn't popular, but it was really good and you really enjoyed it. And you couldn't find anyone to talk to about it. I guess it's a way for you to turn to something else and go, look, my friends don't like this kind of stuff, but I can watch someone talk about it.
Yeah, all right. Is Walking Dead still in the air, or did they cancel that?
It's still on the air, but I heard they have an end game planned.
Finally.
Well, I don't know if their Andrew Lincoln plan backfired or...
What was that?
Because there was rumors that basically he was getting antsy because he knows you play a certain role for so long that kind of limits what you can do.
Wait, what character was he? He was Dale?
No. Andrew Lincoln?
Yeah, who's that?
He's the main character. That, Rick.
Oh, yeah. Describe him by his name.
Oh, Rick.
Yeah.
Rick Grimes. Yeah.
Okay.
So the rumor was he was getting antsy and his contract was coming up.
Right.
And they were like, we can't lose him because everyone loves him.
That was a show. It took a massive dive after that. For fans,
well, so, and spoiler alert, if you're not up on Walking Dead, I don't even watch it, I know this, but apparently this all came out after they killed off Carl.
Okay.
So it's kind of like I think he knew and he was waiting for it because he knew he can get, because if they knew beforehand, they wouldn't kill Carl off. If they knew he wanted to leave, you don't kill Carl.
Right.
Because he's one of the original characters. He's a part of the whole show. So that's what. Yeah. So you don't kill Carl off, and I think that he knew he had the leverage afterwards, and so basically what they did was they did the similar thing that a lot of movie studios or TV channels do. They give him like a so many movie deal. So basically, a lot of those ones they give you cash up front. They give you however much they can prove. Like so, basically on a TV show, I think it'd be like off ad revenue.
Okay.
They would say, "Hey, look, we made this much off
Those
ad
are for
revenue."
the movies, right?
Right,
Planned
for
movies.
the planned movies.
How many movies are there? 2, 3?
I think 3.
Oof, I don't know. I think people are over The Walking Dead.
But I think usually when you do a 3-movie deal, it just you're locked in for 3. But if they decide to put the kibosh on it or come back later, it's up to them. So. But a lot of these ones are having problems now because when you do that, what happens when you delay and delay and delay and delay and delay, and all of a sudden, now you have this other movie that you want to come out. Now, oh wait, oh he's on this other film. Now you have to wait for him to come back. So,
Well,
but,
like he's not like he can do other things, right? Like it's not like
no,
he
he can do other things, but the way that The Walking Dead films, I don't know that any other thing you can do.
he's not because he's like on retainer, right?
Right, basically, yeah. So, the thing is I think that's I don't know, man. I feel like it backfired. They thought that they would bring people back because everyone thought you couldn't kill off Rick, but the problem is before the episode even aired, they said that he got a 3-movie deal. So there was no consequences to what happened in the episode.
It'd be weird if they don't like pursue that storyline. You think there'd be something about it because that was just so kind of out of the blue, not really explained. Like, it's exciting, but it didn't go anywhere.
I've heard rumors that I can't think his name's Robert Kirkman is the one that does the comics, I believe. But the comics have ended. I think they've ended or they're going to end.
I thought they already ended.
So I don't think he's happy with the product because you never hear him talking about it anymore. Like he was a big advocate. You know, he was kind of like a George R. Martin. You know, saying, well, no, this is their story. My books will be different. You know what I mean? Like they don't have to be the same. It's their telling of my stories.
They're two different things.
Right. And so he used to be a big advocate going like, look, it may not happen the way it happened in the comics, but this is still something that could happen. I went a different direction than they wanted to go. It's whatever. So, and I think it was easier for The Walking Dead to make more drastic changes because the comic was only like a little bit ahead of the actual show. It wasn't crazy like ahead of it like George R. Martin stuff was for a period of time. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think it comes back. It is coming back. I know that.
One more season? Is this the last one?
No.
No, it's gotta be. This has to be it.
You think so?
I don't know who watches it anymore. It's not. I mean, the ratings have just gone down.
Walking Dead movies. Oh, that's all this stuff is. This is hilarious. A lot of this stuff on here is basically just saying that like it's not it's all dumb. The world before what? Oh, so the last season ended on maybe the middle season ended on the 24th was the last episode
Of this year?
Season 10 episode 8. Yep.
Oh, that's right. They break it up and they start what in February?
Probably. I don't know. I feel like they saw they had the play out in front of them with Breaking Bad. You know what I mean? They had the layout. You could end it on a high note.
Yeah, and it did well too. It didn't terrible.
Right.
And then the El Camino was a good movie too. It's like you didn't ruin the series at all.
Well, and they were saying so it returns Sunday, February 23rd. So, but the thing about Breaking Bad was it felt more like I don't know. The El Camino movie was more of like a loose end tie up thingy, but it gave you more of a character who you liked, but you really didn't see Jesse as much as you wanted in the show. You know what I mean?
Oh, in the movie?
No, he was featured more. He was the focus in the movie.
Right.
It wasn't like they were bringing Walter White back and then
Right.
focusing on him.
Mm.
It was focusing on Jesse.
Right.
So it was almost like a different story. Like I think you personally could probably redo Walking Dead from the perspective of Jesse, and you Excuse me, a completely different
Who's
show.
Jesse?
Pinkman?
Oh. Maybe, I don't know. It's all about Walter White.
Right.
Walter White was the reason.
Yeah. He was the reason of the show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see what The Walking Dead decides to do. I know the Fear the Walking Dead fans are kind of, I don't know. I don't think it's doing good anymore. I think it's more of a Mad Men situation right now, where everyone just talks about it, but no one watches it.
I don't know anybody that talks about it.
You don't? I will say I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it.
Not like they used to. Not like it was 5 years ago.
No. 5 years ago, it was like, man, did you watch Walking Dead?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens. Got a lot of Star Wars-ish stuff, so let's go through the Star Wars stuff. The first one was they're already capitalizing on the Baby Yoda merchandise, LBY.
Shocker.
And my favorite thing, so there's a funny little thingy that someone posted. They said, well, Pedro Pascal is Latino, so that means that since he's acting like...
Is he Spanish?
I don't know.
All right.
But he's Latino.
Okay.
And he's acting as Baby Yoda's dad. As dad. So, technically, Baby Yoda is Spanish or Latino because of Pedro Pascal, which means that his name should be now Yodito. So that's what he was saying, was it should be Yodito.
I guess. We'll see if Baby Yoda can grow up and make that decision. You know, you just can't give him like that. You got to let the baby decide.
Well, there was rumors that Jon Favreau was like, no, he's the child. He's not Baby Yoda. He's the child.
The child of...
No, he's just called the child.
Oh.
That's what he says he should be called, is the child. He's not Baby Yoda. He's the child.
Yeah, I think Disney isn't going to go with that. Baby Yoda...
I don't know. There's some rumors I'll tell you about afterwards that have been pretty going... that Jon Favreau has a lot more pull than anyone thinks.
I think they'd get rid of him right away.
No. He didn't. He said it jokingly, but he created the character. I'm sure they're not going to get rid of him. There's people who've done a lot worse that they're keeping, and that man has legitimately he created the Marvel universe basically.
Favreau?
Yeah, basically.
Because Iron Man? Because
Yeah.
he did Iron Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it?
He did Iron Man.
Uh-huh.
He did the first live action. He did the Tarzan one that Disney did. Oh, not Tarzan. Jungle Book. That was super successful. And they did Lion King.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's done a lot of...
So he's got some pull.
He's got some pull. So, but the Baby Yoda stuff. So they got Baby Yoda shoots by some company called Zazzle. They look like Toms.
Did you buy any Baby Yoda stuff for Christmas?
No. They had the pre-order for the plush doll, which was cheap, surprisingly.
$15?
$24.99. It's big, though. It's life size. It's like that big.
So what is that, 3 feet, 2 feet?
Yeah.
All right.
I was surprised by it. I was like, oh, that's pretty cheap for it.
Was it pretty good? Like, was it pretty stuffed animal, or was it more realistic?
It was stuffed with, it had basically like a hard face.
Okay.
Like an actual baby doll. And it had the big eyes. I mean, it looked impressive.
Okay.
So I was...
You didn't want to get it, though?
Nah, I was like, oh, my kid can't play with it.
Not yet. Maybe for his birthday.
Hey, second birthday. He still can't play till he's 3. That'd be nice. So you had that. You have they came out with The Mandalorian Season 2 was going to begin in the fall of 2020.
How do you like the difference between Netflix and Disney Plus? Disney Plus is dropping The Mandalorian, or are they dropping all shows week to week, or just The Mandalorian?
They have the Ask Forky series, The World According to Jeff Goldblum, and The Mandalorian. All 3 of those, at least I know of, were weekly. Yeah. And Ask Forky was a kid one where basically Forky
Do you like that
questions.
better than Netflix when they drop it all? Or does it matter to you?
It doesn't matter to me because a lot of times, because The Mandalorian's more topical, and like our podcast is FOMOcast, it's fear of missing out. So basically everyone wants to watch it ASAP. I haven't watched a single episode of The Mandalorian on my new TV at all. Because I've watched them all on my phone because I'm going to work. I'll watch my lunch break.
Oh, you're dedicated.
So, I want to make sure I watch it so I can discuss with Connor on Kong Cantina because he gets it earlier than me. He's in Florida, so he listens to it beforehand. But I feel like it's a smart technique because it builds anticipation and it builds the talking. Whereas, like you said, you went through, what was it? The whole thing of Mindhunter?
Yeah.
And guess what? You're not getting a new season until at least 2022. So you don't mind, but some people it turns them off from the show.
You run that risk, sure.
So I feel like what they're going to try and do with this sort of technique, which they have said that Disney Channel viewing has dropped drastically on cable.
Well, do they have the Disney Channel, or what do you mean by
Disney Channel is on like cable?
Like what dropped in Disney, like Disney shows?
Just no one's watching the channel at all.
Right, because Disney Plus.
Right. So I think what they're going to try and do, which I think is smart, is once they get into the rhythm of shows and whatnot, when they do the WandaVision and they do Falcon and Winter Soldier, I believe those are going to be similar time as the Black Widow movie, so before after Civil War, but before Infinity War. I think what they're going to do is they're going to have a constant flow of new shows, so you're going to come back every week wanting to watch something else when your show's not on. So you're so used to Friday when you get home from work, put on The Mandalorian. Oh, The Mandalorian's not on. Oh, but you know what? We got a new episode of this. We got a new episode of that. And I think they've done a very good job with their archive. I do appreciate, too, people don't like this, but The Last Jedi dropped on there on Christmas Day, I believe, or the day after Christmas, 26th, I think.
Okay.
And what you do is, like, so let's say, for instance, you know it's a Disney movie, you want to watch Infinity War. You can't watch it yet because it's still under the rights of Netflix. But it tells you on it when it's going to be released.
Okay.
So I do appreciate that because you can be like, okay, well, But the joke is everyone's been sending in things to cancel Disney Plus, and they're like, "Why? What's the reason for canceling?" And they go other, and they say, "This is Mandalorian season finale is over, so I won't sign up till next year. This is the way." And it's like a joke, but it's true.
A lot of people have canceled their subscriptions.
I don't think so.
There's no numbers, are there yet? I haven't seen any on the papers.
They did say that we're gonna talk about it later, but The Witcher has passed up Disney Plus's Mandalorian for viewership. But I think it's kind of a false number because what if you're out of town and you can't watch The Mandalorian until this weekend, or you know what I mean? It's holidays, first of all.
Don't equal. Both shows have equal streaming abilities.
They both have equal streaming abilities, but you can watch the entire season of The Witcher. I watched the first 4 or 5 episodes in one night because I was just sitting there and I was like, I gotta keep watching because I gotta see what happens next.
It was that good? I haven't seen it yet.
It's pretty good, but there's some confusing stuff that I can't say on the podcast that I have to explain to you off air because it's a part of the show that it's hard to explain, but I'll explain to you.
You didn't think it was boring? Some people have described it as boring and slow.
It's very Game of Thrones-esque. So when you watch
slow build up,
nice
payoff.
Mm-hmm.
Every payoff's been good.
Every payoff's been good. Henry Cavill, or Cavill, how you want to say it. He's a perfect Witcher. Like he fits the profile.
What is a Witcher? Someone who hunts witches?
Hunts monsters.
Okay.
So basically, like different creatures, cursed things, stuff like that, and he basically things that are haunting villagers. He's basically like a medieval. What's the one that hunt Frankenstein?
Monster Hunter?
No, what's his name? Van Helsing. Yeah. He's like a medieval Van Helsing. So
how is is it like low magic or a lot of magic? Because Game of Thrones, there's a little magic, but it wasn't crazy.
Low magic.
Low magic.
There's some curses that show like the monsters, and they show like one guy got turned like into a porcupine or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but disfigurement like that. But it fits into the theme of it. But the magic, because there's elves. You learn about elves in this, and there's other type of creatures. So it is more. I guess it's more believable because you're immersed in the world already. It's not like you're watching Game of Thrones and all of a sudden all this magic starts happening. It's literally like, oh, hey, look, you expect magic to happen because you saw an elf, and I saw, half man, half horse. Like, you're seeing all these weird things. You're expecting magic to happen. Okay. And they even explain, I had to look it up because there's a good article. I can't remember. If I can find it, I'll post it on the Facebook page that explained what the Witcher was and how he became a Witcher. And in the show, you find out a little bit more about him and why there are less of them. And then you also find out like they're like low level magic. The Witchers are, but they do have these characteristics that make them perfect for hunting monsters.
And this is based off a book as well, right?
Video game.
Wasn't the video game based off a book?
I believe so, but they're basing more of it off the
game
with like visual and whatnot.
Okay. Storyline as well?
I believe. I don't know about the storyline. I don't know about that stuff. But
did you play the game?
No. The Witcher came out when I was like on a hiatus from gaming. Really.
Why is that?
I don't remember. I would go through spurts where I just didn't play, and so I think I kind of just fell off of it. And then by the time Witcher 2 came out, I was already off behind. So I was like, nah, I missed the boat on that one. So it's no big deal. It's kind of like God of War for some people. They didn't want to play God of War because they're like, well, I haven't played the first 3, so
there's 3 God of War.
There's 4 God of Wars.
Another one coming out soon.
I think they said that they haven't decided, but they want to. But yeah, so I would recommend The Witcher. Give it past the first couple episodes. Andrew, who's not here, give it past the first couple episodes.
Andrew was not a fan, right?
I think, yeah, he said he didn't like it. I think it was too slow for him. And so it's one of those things where you're kind of like, well, I mean, there's some confusing stuff in it that I'll explain to you off pod if you don't stick with it for at least 3 episodes, the 3rd episode you start realizing, oh, okay.
So you need to give it 4 episodes.
Give it 4 episodes.
All right.
To get you fully engulfed. The episodes are good. I appreciated them.
Hour-long show?
Yes. But I could see where someone, if you're watching the first one, then you go to the second one, and you're not paying attention, or you're just like kind of like, this sucks. The 3rd one kind of keeps you in it, and that 4th one's where it hits you. So we have that. I was going to say about The Mandalorian, Jon Favreau posted a picture of one of those pig like guard-looking things from Jabba's palace.
Right. Okay.
So he posted a picture of one of those. So they're assuming they're going to introduce one of these characters.
Jabba?
Not Jabba. Jabba's dead.
Well, there's other Jabbas out there, right?
There's other Hutts.
Hutts.
Yeah.
All right, other Hutts.
So there's probably, because the Hutt is a crime syndicate, so I'm sure they're probably trying out there to get.
Does that sound like one?
Well, no. I watched one of them on Clone Wars. I can't remember his name. Is Zero, I think his name is. And he
Zero
talks.
Hutt?
Is it Zero Hutt?
Is there one Pizza Hut
and
too?
No, that's Spaceballs. But he talks like he whines like, "Get me out of here." He talks like that. It's really weird why he talks perfectly like that. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Are the Hutts worms? What are they? Just like slugs?
I don't know. I don't know what their species is. They have a species name probably on Wikipedia. Yeah.
You got to go for the answers.
Yeah. So before I go to that one, so we have a couple announcements on different things that are happening. So Deadpool 3 is in development.
Saw that.
So
Excited.
with Marvel, with Disney. We did talk about it before. I wasn't sure if I was bringing it up, but someone had an amazing idea of basically just have this episode or this movie basically be the reset for all the Marvel's cinematic universe. To have them go through and kill all the actors. And maybe accidentally or whatever. And then my favorite one was, that's what I forgot to tell you. Part of it was going to be him going up the way he did in the last movie, spoiler alert, where he shoots Ryan Reynolds in the head while he's reading the Green Lantern script. Mm-hmm. Have him walk up to Channing Tatum as he's trying on the Gambit costume and shoot him in the head because he's never going to play Gambit. And it's a joke, you know what I mean? So they said it was a good way to bring the movie, have like a kind of like a slapstick section where he's killing off a bunch of these superheroes because it is technically resetting the universe. And he thought it'd be kind of fun, just kind of a joke. So, I mean, it's a possibility. But
I don't think they're going to do that, though.
No, they won't. They're probably going to make it more...
fun idea.
They're going to make it more serious. I guarantee it. Yeah. They got to keep some of the comedy, but they're going to make it more serious. The one that I never expect to see, apparently a Jackass 4 is in the works.
What are they going to do that they haven't done already? Like, how much shenanigans can you do?
I mean...
They're in their, 40s and 50s?
Johnny Knoxville's in his 40s, I know that.
They got to be all in their 40s.
I know.
So... What are they going to do that they haven't done?
I mean, can Bam Margera even be with them?
I don't know. Is he on drugs or
he's gone to rehab like a couple times. He asked Dr. Phil for help, which was kind of weird.
Well, Dr. Phil's there to help.
Hey, Dr. Phil McGraw.
So are you going to see Jackass 4?
I would. Be nostalgic. I mean, I remember getting the DVDs. They had a Volume 2 and a Volume 3. There was no Volume 1. I have no idea why. And if you were fans of it, you knew, like, it actually started, Bam Margera started it with his CKY series, where his brother was, like, a videographer and wannabe, and he would video him and his friends doing all the stupid crap they did at his home. Like, I remember my favorite one was when they did, because when Jackass first started, it was playing old CKY clips, and then it was the new clips of the guys all together. And one of my favorite one was they were doing street field goals when they would go and kick field goals in the cars as they drove by. Like, that's what's crazy too. Like, they did stupid stunts in the movies, but they were legitimately damaging people's cars. You know, like there was one they did, Pet Bee, where they caught a bee and they froze it and tied a string to it, and they're like, bzz, and it was flying around. Like, they were just doing weird things for fun. There was one where I remember one of the ones. I think it was one of the movies. That was the favorite stunt, was their friend that had long hair, looked kind of like a caveman.
Right.
When they had him hit a beehive, he thought it was a fake beehive, and they put a real beehive in the tree. And so they were going to add the bees digitally afterwards. And he's getting stung, and he's freaking out, and they're getting in his beard and everything. And I'm like, oh my God, they're going to kill someone, legitimately.
I like the one with the band... Bam, when they threw that, like, would they throw like a cobra in there? They threw like a snake inside the horse trailer.
I don't remember that one.
Stuck in there. He's like up in the thing.
Oh yes. But I believe it's one of those ones that's a pet, so they remove the things. Okay. I believe. But
still terrifying.
There was one I remember when they did sledding. When they would go down the street, and it was called like Wreck 'em Burn, and they're going on like makeshift sleds down a street, and you're just kind of like, man, I don't know, man. I don't know.
When's this gonna drop?
They're saying it's in development.
So it's in development. That means they're shooting it, or they're creating ideas.
Usually, when it's in development, it means they're looking to see who's willing to be in it again.
Okay.
Looking to see logistics.
Johnny Knoxville.
Obviously.
Steve-O.
Steve-O probably would do it because he's back clean and sober. Him and Chris Pontius, I saw them the other day on a show.
They'll probably do it.
So they're the Wild Boys, and they'll get back together. I guarantee it. And then because Chris Pontius had my favorite Cribs episode ever, when it was his truck. He was living in his truck. Yeah, that was a pretty good one. And then Wee Man, Preston Lacey. I bet you Dave England would come back.
Yeah.
They had the one guy who had the one tooth missing. I remember him. He was like the dude that did all like the scootering and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Always use a helmet, kids. Yeah.
Safety something? What do they call him?
Yeah.
Safety Steve? I don't know.
Something like that. He had a name like that. And then obviously Ryan Dunn passed away. So, I mean, that's why I thought it would never happen. You know, he was so close to them. And the way Bam's been, I don't know how you could do that to Bam.
Who knows? Still got some time.
I mean, I just saw the videos yesterday of them when they had the big giant hand. And people were walking into the office to talk about recording. They're talking about recording the new movie. The second one or the third one. And and Wee Man goes, "What's up, Bam?" And they let go of it, and it smacks him, and he freaking blows him away, and there's white powder all over it. So it gets him. And it was, they did a lot of stupid stuff, but there was a lot of funny, like, you could tell, like, I think the worst one I ever saw was the one where Steve-O gets they do paper cuts in between his fingers and the corners of his mouth. And he goes, "I was sleeping." And he goes, "What are you guys doing?" And he's like, "Oh." He does it all. He's all, "Oh." He goes, "All of this, I just to come to see what you guys were doing when I was trying to sleep." It's, I think, and then everyone remembers like Wee Man dressed up like an Oompa Loompa and running around the street,
I don't know
skateboarding.
what more they can do. I don't know. It'll be interesting what stunts that they haven't done. They're gonna.
I think it'd be cool if they went back to like doing skateboarding mixed into it too.
Maybe it'd be like some kind of montage for Dunn too. I don't know.
Speaking of which, I found a show randomly when I was waiting for the wife to get home. I didn't want to watch anything we watched together, so I found this show. I think it's on Hulu called Abandoned. It's like a Vice thing. I think it's on Hulu or Netflix. I can't remember, but it's abandoned. In the first episode, he went to abandoned malls. And the dude's a skater, and he's like, "Man, I'm hoping to find something."
So he just goes to abandoned places and.
He's going to abandoned malls. It's super creepy, man. It's really creepy.
Why?
Because like you can just see, like it's like everything's frozen in time when it goes down.
Ghost mall.
Yeah, and I guess like one guy, he's super protective of it because he goes, "Man, I grew up here in the '90s, and everyone's coming here and the more they do vandalism, the more they vandalize, the more they do damage, the more likely they're going to tear this place down.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point in having it.
No, I mean, it's kind of like I go to this one place, this restaurant in Atwater, and almost the whole complex, like on the back of this complex. So there's like a little building here with like 2 shops, 3 shops. There's the restaurant. In the back, there's a that Fit Republic and something else. And the whole entire place is almost empty. There's no businesses in it. And I'm like, I don't understand how they can do this. Same thing as our mall in Modesto. They want to make that an outdoor mall.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's one of those things.
I don't know why people go to malls.
There's a funny thing on the start of that Abandoned. This guy put a book out of abandoned malls. So he's showing pictures. And on the inside, on the back of the cover, or one of the things, it was an excerpt from the guy who created the mall. And he goes, I created the mall, and it became one of the things I loathed the most in my life. Because what he said, though, is that his idea for a mall was that you could go spend time with your family and do all this stuff like that. He goes, now, it was literally like a grocery store. And it was more of what you would think a mall should be. Something you can get all of your shopping done in one place. He said now it's all about making money. And so... Well, yeah.
I mean, you have a business to make money. You don't do it for nostalgia.
Yeah. So, but look at that. Vice has got a lot of good shows. So look at that on Vice. It's something about, I think it's called Abandoned. And each episode's a different type of abandoned place. So I need to watch the second episode. I didn't catch what it was, but I'm hopeful it's good. Let's see, what else is coming out? Oh, Narcos Mexico season 2.
There you go.
Comes out February 13th.
Stopped watching it.
I did too. I got kind of bored.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then the one I'm kind of excited for is Spider-Man's. Tom Holland is in talks to be in Venom 2. So we're hoping they can make up some sort of deal to keep him in there, put him in there. That way we're not having any fights.
Your favorite character, right? Your favorite second tier character, or
Venom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just soft heart. And
Venom was one of my favorite ones. One of my favorite comic series was I can't remember what it was about really, but something Venom. In the comic universe, there's a Venom version of every superhero in every different dimension. And someone was bringing those Venoms all to one place for some reason. I can't remember why. So they had to enlist the help of Carnage to try and help, which Carnage is another symbiote that's a little more violent, which I believe is going to be played by Woody Harrelson in the new movie, because he was hinted at in the last movie. But I'm excited because I think Tom Holland will be a good addition. And the thing is Spider-Man, I want him to be more of like a Frank Castle and the Daredevil type of character in this movie.
Spider-Man?
No. Like how his character was in the show, not a bunch. He was in there just enough. Because this is gonna be a Venom movie. I want Spider-Man to play a minor character. He doesn't need to be the main character.
Gotcha.
So I want him to have his decent amount of scenes that he needs, obviously, to make the story make sense. But I don't want him to be the guy saving the day. I want Venom to be the main character. Because as we've seen in the first one, it was a great movie about balancing with the symbiote. So I appreciate it. And then I'll talk about You Season 2 before we go to The Rise of Skywalker. So I watched, I think we're on episode 6 of You Season 2. It's darker than the first one. I don't know how.
Yes, the dark one already, or the first season is pretty dark.
Pretty dark. This one's gotten way darker.
How does it get darker? Like, what kind of subject? Not going into detail. What kind of like subject matter does it go into?
It goes into the same stuff, but just deeper.
So more backstory.
So you get more of his backstory. You see a little bit more of him, why he is the way he is, and you have more characters who are similar or more like him. So you get more. He's in L.A. It's a cutthroat place. So and he talks a lot more in his head. Like, you get a lot more of his thoughts coming out. It feels so much darker, but it feels so much better. I like it. I like it better than the first season. We'll probably watch the rest of it.
Are they already talks about season 3?
No rumor yet, but I believe someone said that Penn Bagley or Badgley, however you say his name, he did leak that they're working on season 3 already, on accident.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. But
more you.
yeah. So I'm gonna finish watching it. We'll probably talk about it more next week when I watch it. I'm gonna tell Titus the rumored end that I heard. I don't know how it actually ends, but now we're gonna go on to the Rise of Skywalker. So from here on out, there's gonna be spoilers probably because Titus doesn't understand the Star Wars universe. I think as deep as a lot of people.
It's deep.
Yeah, like a lot of people don't understand the depth. So you may say something small that you think it means nothing because it was a small little thing, but it is a big thing. So spoiler alert for the next probably 10 minutes while we discuss the Rise of Skywalker on the end of the podcast. So how did you feel about it?
I feel like I've talked to some people, some Star Wars fanatics, some casual, some observing like me. I've seen most of the movies. And they all say kind of the same thing. It was better than The Last Jedi. So it's like that's no one seems to be excited about it. They just seem like, oh, it was better than The Last Jedi. A lot of the things feel forced. It seems like pretty much for the fans. A lot of, I guess what they call them.
Fan service.
No, but I'm talking about in the, was it Force Ghosts is what they call them? Like you got all these random Force Ghosts hopping in the movie. That seems kind of, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it flowed very good. Chewie gets a medal. Seems like a lot of fan service. But I have a question. So they used a lot of these like CGI things for the younger face for Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker in the movie. What do you think about that? Do you like that? Do you think they'll get to a point where they don't need actors? They'll just generate these faces?
I think for that scene it was perfect because there wasn't much reaction needed. It was just a quick glimpse.
I'm just saying in general, though.
No, I don't.
Because that seems to be the trend. You got that. You have.
I heard the Irishman had some issues with it. Like they said that people pinpointed like their hands look like they're the current age.
But it's gonna get better.
You maybe, and the Irishman is that the technology that was used was the Lucasfilm studio that they use, was it they call it the Light and Magic, whatever it's called. Yeah, they're the ones that did that for them. So, I mean, the thing for me, so like the only part, this was dumb. The only part that made me sad in the whole movie was obviously Chewie finding out Leia had died. But for me, the hardest part was seeing Snap Wexley die, because no one knows his backstory unless you read the comics, and he has a.
I didn't even know that was a character in the.
Snap Wexley was the bigger guy from Heroes. That's the X-wing pilot.
He died?
Yeah, he gets shot down in that last big firefight.
In the ship?
Yeah, so he's on an X-wing fighter. So, and also when you hear that the older guy that's talking when they come back in the Millennium Falcon, that's Wedge Antilles. And Wedge Antilles has been in almost every single Star Wars movies besides the new stuff. He was a fighter pilot in the first 3. He was so he's like a big character. And then you have so there was Wedge Antilles, which he's also royalty. So, and then the Rose Tico, they screwed up so bad with her character.
That was the
Kelly Tran. She's the Asian one that stayed back, and she's looking at the plans. Well, she was a huge hero in the last one, and people are mad about that because I think what happened. So the rumor was she had a much bigger part, but because Carrie Fisher died, it just threw a wrench in everything, and they tried using the CGI to work with her, but it was all old stuff she had already filmed. So it's like old film footage they used to try and put together. Like, her daughter was in it. Billie Lourd was in the movie, Carrie Fisher's daughter. She plays one of the younger resistant people right next to her in one of the scenes. But so Kelly Marie Tran, they kind of screwed the pooch on that one because she had such a big up and coming story. She should have done it. And I also didn't like the fact that
maybe she get a spin-off, a side one. Maybe. What's her character name? Rose
Tico.
Rose Tico.
She's the one that came out last one. Her sister died trying to blow up the ship. And so she has a lot to lose because she's like, my sister gave her life. This can't be for nothing kind of thing. And then I also didn't like the fact that the whole time everyone's like, oh my gosh, it has the first same-sex kiss in the Star Wars universe. And then the one they showed was like, it'd be like me and you, oh my god, we're not dying, and we give each other a big hug. It's like, that's all it was. It wasn't as explicit as they said it was. It wasn't as like a romantic thing. So I feel like they there's a lot of things they teased that they led too much with to make you think too much of it.
I think that scene just to get people talking.
Yes,
People are outraged by it. It's another thing to talk about, and more
right,
publicity and
exactly.
stuff. But
and I didn't mind. And I thought if I would actually.
I didn't think anything of it.
The funny part was, as I joked on Facebook in a couple of these fan groups, I always thought that Poe and Finn were the ones that were going to get together because they always hug each other like they love each other as more than friends all the time.
One thing that's interesting how like diverse the Star Wars universe got with the compared to like that first three. It's all pretty much male and white.
Yeah.
And now it's very much more diverse.
Which
Females.
I appreciate this film because Finn was a much better character in this one, and he was a lot funnier. Poe. There's a lot of plot holes, like how that ship sat there in the desert for that long with no one touching it.
I mean, there's a lot of plot holes in the movie.
And,
Come on.
I get it. Like someone did say, hey, look, there's all those pits everywhere. You don't know if you're gonna fall in. You got to be careful. They're probably told don't go out there because there's a monster out there.
What do you think about people who think about like that stuff? Like you have too much time on your hands if you're thinking like that in depth with that kind of movie. It's a silly fantasy movie.
Right, but that one right there, when you've established in the universe that Jawas steal everything and go after ships as soon as they crash, that's what bothers people. Is because you've already established in the movie that things like that can't happen.
They're getting a little too into it.
No, but I actually enjoyed it. But it was the first movie that I left that I was like, well, that was it. That's the end.
Right.
Did
you feel good as a fan? Like, because you're a pretty hardcore fan, I'd say.
I really enjoyed it. There are some things that I didn't like, but for me personally, I felt it ended in a fitting way. But there was one big thing that I liked was she said, who are you? He's like, I'm Rey. And she's like, I was Rey nobody, but now she should have said, I'm Rey everyone, or something like that. She shouldn't have said, given her name of Skywalker. She shouldn't have done that whole thing like that. Because it is the rise of Skywalker, but like a lot of people have pointed, hey, for everyone on Twitch, everyone on YouTube, I'm going to tell you, when we were sitting there in the theater, what's the only thing that Titus says to me the whole time, the movie's over, he's like, great, now she's stealing identities. And I'm like, oh my God, that was perfect. And so I think one flaw of the movie is you also get people who steal the show. Like they try to like Babu Frick was adorable.
Okay.
Babu Frick is the little dude that...
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Babu Frick was adorable.
Yeah.
He shows up again.
Not Baby Yoda.
Not Baby Yoda.
Cute.
But it's Babu Frick. And I'm like, oh my God. So this felt like it was super merchandised. And the other sad part was, too, you don't get to see Rey make her lightsaber. No one knows that the color that she got is an amazing color.
Yellow, right?
Yes. Because that's what the Jedi Sentinels used to have. And the Jedi Sentinels were the ones that were balanced on knowledge and fighting ability. So they're very balanced Jedi. So it just shows that she's balanced. And the other cool thing is the other way you can get the yellow lightsaber is if you heal a broken kyber crystal, which that's how you get red. Red means because you bond with the crystal. That's how you get the crystal. The crystal calls to you. You go find it for your lightsaber. When you go evil, the dark side, it puts basically pressure on the crystal and it cracks and breaks. That's why Kylo Ren's lightsaber was so unstable.
Really?
Well, if you heal it, you can force heal it, it'll turn to a yellow color usually. So how cool would it have been if she would have gone back and instead of Luke's Force Ghost, you got to see Kylo's Force Ghost or Ben's Force Ghost showing her where it was and she healed it to keep him with her at all times.
You would have liked that. There
were so many other ways you could do that, but I did really appreciate it. I wasn't as mad about the fact that her last name is Palpatine, that she's a Palpatine. I didn't care. That didn't bother me at all. I did like how fast they started it. How it was like literally, bam, there's Palpatine right off the get-go. They did not wait a minute.
You like that? Didn't you feel kind of ripped off as a fan? Like, no, he's came out of nowhere.
No, because that gave me hope to find out why he was there. So that you find out that he created clones of Snoke. Snoke was his creation. He was the voice of Darth Vader, which that bothered me too, because Darth Vader...
Darth Vader was a clone? What do you mean?
No, Darth Vader was the voice of Darth Vader in Kylo's head.
Oh, okay.
he was making that voice. So I was like, why did not Anakin come back? Why couldn't Anakin be the Force Ghost to talk to him, to tell him that wasn't him?
Were there talks about that? Were there talks about an Anakin
Well,
Force Ghost?
But the voices in the end, that one made me the maddest the most. I just started Clone Wars. I'm in season 2 right now.
That's the cartoon one.
Yes.
Right? Computer.
Ashoka Tano, or Tano, however you want to say it. Ahsoka Tano.
The red one with the braids, kind of thing?
Yes. Her voice was in the thing. That means she's dead. It's never been established that she's dead ever. So everyone's all, what? Freddie Prinze Jr. was one of the voices too. He played a Jedi in the cartoons. Dead. I don't think we knew he was dead either. And everyone's like, but then Dave Filoni, the guy who's been working on The Mandalorian, who did the Clone Wars, created it, he said he posted a sketch of Ahsoka Tano next to Gandalf. And he says, everyone thought that I was dead too, to her. So I don't know what he's got planned.
Man, you fans go into it.
But he tweeted it on Twitter. I think he's mad because everyone was like, J.J. Abrams flat out said, I'm horrible at endings. He said that I'm horrible at ending
Then
things.
why would they have him? He's the writer for the movie, right?
Yes.
Then why would they have him do the last?
I don't know what happened. So The Last Jedi, everyone that liked it, like really liked it, liked the fact that they're like, look, anyone can be a Jedi. Anyone can do this. Which is what the feeling of it what should have been. You know, it's not the original trilogy where there is a connection. That's the part of the story. It doesn't mean Luke is more Force sensitive because of his dad. It meant it was more risk in the movie. You know what I mean? It actually played into the story. Same thing with the prequels. They're finding people who are Force sensitive that have no real connection. That's why they have the younglings in the prequels. It tells the story of the creation of that. They could have done so much more with, now they're saying they're going to try and do a Rey spinoff with her teaching younglings and building the Jedis back up kind of thing. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I did really enjoy the movie. I'm probably going to get it on.
It all seems very forced. You don't seem satisfied.
Well, no. What was sad to me is that I was fully engulfed into it. I was fully excited about it. There was a lot of things that happened with the ship that like with the Millennium Falcon when he was hyper skipping. That's so dangerous that it doesn't make sense because the Holdo maneuver, last movie where she went through the ship in hyperspeed. How are you pinpointing? I don't understand. It takes Han forever, one of the best pilots in the galaxy, to program into the ship the coordinates. And he's just kind of skipping. So there's little things that irk me a little bit, but I still truly enjoyed it because it was still fun. So if it was for me, it's more of, well, they could have done this, but this was still fun. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's a silly fantasy movie.
It's a silly fantasy movie. But a lot of the complaints that I have seen have been more about
people got too technical.
The Rose Tico stuff, because that was a failure on their part. She's an amazing warrior. She saved Finn's life. Her and Finn should have gotten together.
She'll probably get a spinoff.
Maybe, I don't know.
She'll probably be in other ones. I'm sure there's plenty of time. I'm sure she'll get her own moment.
Well, no, they said the Skywalker saga's over. These people will not appear in any other movies.
So you don't think they're gonna have any more Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia?
No.
No more Force ghosts. It's done.
That's
Close
what
the
they're
book. They'll change their mind.
I think so. One of the things we were talking about earlier, now we can spoil it. So they had the character was Darth Revan, or Raven, however you want to say it, but Revan. But they made him canonical because they're talking about the Sith guards, the Sith troopers, and they're a lot stronger, a lot more violent. They're dealing with the Force a little bit. So what I like about this is the visual guide. He's canon again, so everyone loved him. The one thing I thought was pretty cool, there's a comic out now called it's a Kylo Ren comic, and it's about Kylo Ren starting with the First Order.
All right.
And do you know that they're not called the Knights of Ren after him?
What are they called?
They're called the Knights of Ren, but they're not based on him. That's why when they fight him in the end of the movie.
Right, they're a different thing.
No, they follow the dark side of the Force. So wherever the dark side of the Force tells them to go, they go. Ren was the original person who led it. I guess in the comics he's all scarred up, and he tells them, if I turn on the cause, you do what the Ren has told you to do. And so it's not even him. It's like the leader is the Ren, but it's about a Force thingy. So
That's his title. Then he had Kylo Ren's the title.
that's a title. So he's the leader of the Ren, but they follow the Ren what it tells them to do. So, yeah, it's I give it um, I give it 2 Guy Fieri's just for you, Andrew.
Not 2.5, huh?
No, I give him 2 Guy Fieri's.
All right.
You know,
I know. I give it like 5, 6.
which as a person who's not in deep in it, there's a lot of little things that I saw that made me happy. Seeing Wedge Antilles was like the coolest thing ever. Because you're like,
Totally
oh my
missed
god,
it.
I'm in the movie theater seeing a person who I never thought I'd see fly or be in a battle there.
That makes you a good fan, I guess.
I mean, that one was the cool one. I'm trying to think what else was sad. I can't think of anything else. Obviously, Chewie. All the Chewie stuff was kind of sad, but I don't think anything else. And like, it was an ending. And I think that's the big problem. People are is like the other complaint I heard was why are they burying Leia's lightsaber somewhere she's never been?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that... Yeah. I mean, story-wise, what are you going to do? It's a fantasy, you know? Not really... They just kind of do whatever they want. But I think it seems like the fans liked it. And there are millions of Star Wars fans, and I feel like that's who they're going for.
Yeah, it's who they're going for. And I mean, for me personally, I mean, I've been watching everything Star Wars that I can get my hands on. That is why I think Disney Plus is gonna do so good because, I mean, what can you not? I mean, literally, you can complain all you want about the Mandalorian. I think Mandalorian. So that last episode got 100% of Rotten Tomato. It's like one of the rarest episodes to ever get 100% on the last episode, and I think there's a lot of potential that Disney can fix a lot of things. And there's rumors that some of the stuff that happened in the last movie was done to correct things that were changed and basically timeline issues so that basically future stuff can happen off of this movie.
I guess. I just don't... I mean, you're getting really technical. Like, man.
I think that's my problem though too is I know so much in my brain.
You know too much.
And it's like, I can't leave it. Like that's the thing is like that's why I think I'm open to anything. That's why I did enjoy it though, because the comics they go every single which way. I've seen everything. I've seen in one comic Luke has twins and one of them's evil and one of them's good. And there's one where, Leia has a kid with Han, and one of them twins with Han, and one's but so it's.
Well, Steve, I don't know. I don't know if Star Wars is gonna like keep going the way it's going because if you lose all those characters, that's where you go. That's why you watch the shows. Han, Luke.
No,
like,
the rumor is no. This is over, and the rumor
that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's gonna be successful because you go for those characters.
No, I think it will.
That's what it's all based on.
I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna sprinkle in standalone films. They'll probably get round back to the Boba Fett film. And I think what they're going to do is, they said they're going to do an MCU, style show or a movie. So basically, they're going to introduce characters, probably from the comics, probably from canon. So I think that's why they're introducing people back to canon. So they can go like, I think it'd be awesome to do a Jedi-heavy film, like the Old Republic, before the events of the original trilogy. But not have it tied to this because there's so many Jedi. There's so many people you can follow. So I think it all depends on Clone Wars Season 6 comes out next year.
That's still going as an active show?
No. Actually, it got canceled, and Disney brought it back for one last season for Filoni. He said he wanted to do one last...
So it's 6 seasons total?
Yeah, so there's 5 right now.
They're like 15 minutes long, right?
No, 22 minutes.
Okay.
I'm about to tell you right now. I think maybe it is 6 seasons right now. But I know that what happened was he said he had a whole layout for another season, and it just got canceled. So let's see. recommended for you. Continue watching. There we go. Continue watching. All of the stuff on here is all my kids' stuff. All my stuff's gone now. That's why I have Disney Plus, friends, is because of this. So Clone Wars, that's the movie. So here's the cartoon. 6 seasons, so it's 7th season. So it got canceled in 2014. And he said he had basically ideas for the second season, for the 7th season, and they're like, nope. And he's like, okay. So
All right, no more Clone Wars. That's it.
no more Clone Wars.
All done. Any more future Star Wars projects?
They said they're going to start releasing them every other year, movies starting in 2022. So they have the they have the Mandalorian next year,
The series.
the series. They have Clone Wars, the cartoon series. They have the Obi-Wan series. They have the K2SO series with Caspian. They're gonna have a series
I don't know who that is.
from Rogue One. From Rogue One, he's a character on Rogue One. So it's Caspian. He's a character in Rogue One, and he has the robot that's K2SO. And then I'm sure they're probably going to come through with a Solo too, and I bet you it's going to go on to Disney Plus as a directed Disney Plus movie. I wouldn't doubt it.
Maybe.
They got the money for it, man.
It's Disney.
It's Disney, man.
They own, I think, a third of the world.
It's
Definitely a lot of media.
they are the they're incredible. I mean, I've been watching Star Wars and Disney stuff for so long. Some guy did you see that guy that did that funny thing where it's like in the year 2021, Disney will try and buy Universal. Or it's like 2045, Disney will offer to buy Universal. Universal denies their offer, and it goes into an all-out war of them fighting, like building real troopers and all that kind of stuff. Like it's a joke, but it's saying like it's Disney owns everything.
Yeah.
My favorite tidbit. Let's end it on this. So I don't know how I found this out. I don't remember when I heard this, but so you know who Al Michaels is.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, on Twitch, YouTube, Al Michaels is a very good football announcer. People always wonder, I always saw him on something else. Well, Al Michaels used to be on ESPN back in the day.
What are you talking? How far back? 70s?
No.
When?
You're
You're talking about Monday Night Football?
Maybe?
Monday Night was on ABC for a while. I don't think you followed it when it went to ESPN.
No, I'll tell you right now
All
what happened. So Al Michaels, I'll confirm, actor. It has him as an actor.
He's been in movies.
Basketball. Oh, he's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, playing himself.
So let's see. Oh, he was on Peyton's Place. Sweet. So that's NBC. Let's see when he was last on a different network. That's NBC.
So you saying he got fired? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, it's even better than that. Okay, there we go. So he was on NFL Monday Night Football from 1986 to 2006.
Right, it was on ABC.
On ABC.
Which is owned by Disney.
Which is owned by Disney.
All right, what's the connection? I'm waiting to hear this thing.
So there's a thing that happens in the entertainment industry I didn't know about. So basically, let's say, for instance, I create a TV show, and it's on a network. That network gets bought by someone else. That new network owns that thing. Well, somehow, through many years of buying and acquiring stuff, NBC came into ownership of Oswald the Rabbit, which was Walt Disney's first creation before Mickey Mouse.
Right.
So NBC owned it because they bought a company who had the rights because of Walt Disney, the original company he worked for. People don't know he worked for another animator, and when they were paying him nothing, he left to start his own company, and they said, "That's our right. You created that under our company." They traded Oswald the Rabbit for Al Michaels.
Oh, that's right. You've said this story before.
So on a trivia, and he said, I remember listening because it was on an interview with him. He goes, someday when my grandkids are playing Trivial Pursuit, one of the questions is going to be, how did ABC or Disney come back to acquiring Oswald the Rabbit? And it's because they traded Al Michaels, a human being, for the rights to a cartoon.
Everyone has value.
Hey, I appreciate him on Monday Night Football.
It's on Sunday night.
Sunday Night Football, sorry. He's really good. I wonder why football left ABC.
Because they got bought by Disney.
Is that when they bought them?
And then Disney owned ESPN.
Okay,
So just
that
moved
makes
it over
sense.
there.
That makes sense. Because ABC still holds bowl games and stuff.
ABC?
Yeah, ABC does bowl games.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Do they have the national title for college?
Don't think so.
For a while, I think they did like the Rose Bowl, something like that. But
yeah, maybe when it was when the national championship game took place at one of the bowls. Maybe
ABC usually has basketball, the finals.
Yes. So. Are you sure?
Uh-huh. The finals on ABC.
On ABC.
Mm-hmm.
Because don't they have some of them like on Bravo too, like the Final Four?
Are you talking about the tournament? I'm talking about the finals, like the NBA
finals.
finals.
NBA finals.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I meant like the tournament. Yeah.
There are tournaments all over the place. That's on CBS usually. CBS networks have that.
It doesn't tell you when it's. It says it's on January what? January what?
6th?
13th. Its national anthem is going to be performed by Lauren Daigle.
That's right.
Network, ESPN.
Boom.
Yeah. So that's all for you for the podcast now. So for the FOMOcast, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Make sure you go to our places. Facebook.com/FOMOcast, Twitter, FOMO_cast, FOMO Podcast on Instagram, FOMO_cast on Twitter. And if you want to follow me, let me know you're following. I'm Grizzle CEO, so GRYZZL CEO. And follow me on Instagram. I'm on there. I'm all up in that. If you send me a message and say, hey, I listen to your podcast because I don't want no creepers following me. So let's do that. So for the FOMOcast, I'm Chris.
Titus.
And we'll see you next time.